What's up?
Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is Popping Culture. My guest today is comedian, poet, and life coach Justin Blackburn. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast, man.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Oh man, guys, Justin is a hilarious comedian. If he's in your city, please go check him out. Also, great poet. I believe you have 2 books.
6 books.
6 books. Wow. Okay, guys, I promise you, I do research. Wow. Okay,
Some of
six.
them are out of print, I guess, but
Okay, cool. But this guy, I'm telling you, very creative guy. Um, I'm just great poet, great comedian. So lucky to have him on. He chose the topic of God and how God has influenced pop culture. But before we get into that, whenever I have comedians on, I like to ask. A lot of people like to focus on bombing, but I'm more focused on succeeding. So when was the first time you killed and how did it feel?
that's a funny question because I'm kind of insane. So I got into comedy to bomb, which is a little weird. So I thought it was fun to go up and fuck with the audience and not get laughs. So when I would get laughs, I would like, I'm getting laughs. What's going on? And then I would say something to offend the audience and then bomb. It wasn't until Minori Hines was running a show in Asheville, and I was like, Minori Hines, amazing comedian. And she was like, I was like, hey, book me on your show. She's like, no. And I was like, why? She's like, well, you fucked the whole room up. Like everything, you ruin the vibe of the show. And I was like, okay, damn. All right. And so then I started writing like jokes that were funny. So I would say the first time I ever wrote jokes, got laughs, and felt really great about it was when I won a comedy contest at the Charlotte Comedy Zone.
Nice.
That was the first time where I remember like winning, because I thought my jokes were kind of shitty and stupid, and they were just kind of me making fun of myself. But I remember I won, and it was like a pretty packed house, and I felt really good about myself. I felt like I remember like driving away, like yes. And then I got to go into the professional comedy zone show the next week, and I bombed miserably. So it was pretty funny. It was a cool like highlight versus disaster. Like I was like, oh my god, I just did my jokes and people laughed. It was packed and I won. I'm the best. And then the next week I went up and just got destroyed. Yeah.
Well, I've never seen you bomb, man. Every time I've seen you, you've definitely killed. In my opinion, you've done great. One of the biggest questions I wanted to ask before we get into the topic was, what would you say is the big difference when you perform poetry and when you perform comedy?
I don't know any. I guess I'm saying different things.
True.
And one, I'm trying to be funny, and the other, I'm trying to inspire. But sometimes I try to do both. And sometimes in poetry, I try to be funny, and in comedy, I try to inspire. I had to run for a while where I would just kind of go up and say a bunch of really inspirational shit. It was like really, pulled on the heartstrings and made people think, but nobody ever thought it was funny. So they'd be like, oh, that was really thoughtful. Thank you. I was like, oh, did you laugh? They were like, no, but it was thoughtful. So I'm trying to, I've tried I've been a lot of different people.
Nice. Guys, I'm serious. Like this poetry is amazing. You've had it shared by multiple celebrities I can remember. I remember D.L. Hughley shared one of your poems. I believe a few other people have shared your poems also, I believe, correct?
Yeah, some other people have shared them.
Yeah. So guys, he's definitely his name does ring bells. Um
That one poem was good for people really embrace that poem. So that was
yeah,
cool.
and we definitely needed it at that time also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um so you chose the topic of God. Any special reason why?
Um I just think that, I mean, that's what's on my mind the most. So I don't know. I think that so pop culture. So when we're talking about pop culture, we're just talking about all of pop culture for all of time.
Mhm.
I think pop culture is very like easily influenced by the people who allow it to go out, whoever they are, right? And maybe not as much now because we have the internet and people can find things on their own and share it, which is really awesome. But I don't know, I just feel like for example, George Harrison in the late 60s wrote a song called My Sweet Lord. And it was a big hit. And at first he's like, My Sweet Lord, and he's talking, and people are singing along. And then he goes and he starts singing, he was a Hare Krishna. So he starts chanting Hare Krishna, and people start singing Hare Krishna, probably not knowing what they're doing and singing. I like the idea of like pop music as a brainwashing tool to brainwash people to be happier, to love themselves more. So I think that I'm always surprised that that was like one of the only times it succeeded. I don't want to say that, but like that song Happy by I would say God and Feeling Good are very similar. And I would say that song Happy by Pharrell was one of those experiences that made people really feel good about themselves and have a hit song. So I think that, I think that I've always been really into combining spirituality with my goal is to at some point in time create something that's very spiritual but also very digestible for everyone.
Would you say that Kirk Franklin does a good job with that?
Yeah, but he's great, but he's also like gospel. You know what I'm saying? So he's pop, but he's kind of in his own little thing, right? So he's not getting played on. Maybe it was Stomp. That song got some airplay, but he's not getting played on, you know, like modern radio. He was in that Kanye record, Life of Pablo. He was great on that.
Yeah. Actually, his song from Space Jam, "We Win" with Lil Baby, that actually is on the radio now too.
Oh, sweet. I was
Yeah.
wrong. That's great. No, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those things where apparently people in the gospel community, not all, but some were kind of upset at first because they wanted to keep pop distant. But he was like, you got apparently gospel singers wouldn't let him in the beginning. So he was like, I'm just gonna go to where people accept him. And it worked out for him.
That's amazing, man. Shout out to him. That's an incredible incredible thing. Yeah. Yeah, I think that like more music that inspires people to, I mean, music already inspires people already, right? I mean, like, if you listen to like a Kanye song, not that I mean Kanye's got that great song Jesus Walks, but I mean, like if you listen to Kanye, it's a very like a song that I've really been listening to a lot lately is like Waves. You know that song?
Yep.
That's a real, that song pumps you up and get you fired up and get you really in your power, right?
Mhm.
But just maybe taking it a step uh further, and can we take somebody in their power, but like consciously saying like, I am connected to a higher being. I am protected by God. You know what I'm saying? Like, can
Mhm.
we put somebody there without saying, like, not that I love the lyrics to the song. Can we use profanity on here?
100%, buddy. I want you to be you.
So, like, I mean, this is a Kanye line, but he's like, I step up in this bitch, like, you know, like, what if, not that that's not a bad thing. That's a great lyric, and not it's, but what if it was more like, it's like having that empowered energy, um, consciously, maybe I mean, that's just what I like to see. That's just what actually more like what I would like to do. I made this record last year with actually a producer who was the engineer of J-Lo's last record. And this guy is like phenomenally brilliant. And I made a record called Unlearning White America. And there's a song on there called In America, Know Your Worth that I tried to do that on. But yeah, just more pop music that I guess, I like that Chance the Rapper Bieber song. That was cool.
Yeah. Also, another artist, Chance the Rapper, definitely,
Chance the
uh,
Rapper does that. Yeah.
very much so, very much so. Uh,
Blessings is one of my favorite songs.
yeah, me too. Yeah, it comes so out of left field. It's just like, wow, this works. Like
Yeah.
this song works completely. I
Yeah.
agree.
But to me, it's like, I don't understand why it wouldn't work perfectly every time. Because I mean, anytime, like, I love gospel music. Aretha Franklin's gospel records, like one of my favorite records of all time. And I just think that, like, that energy, and I don't know, I just think that energy is just really moves people. And music moves people. So put them together, it should just be like a double empowerment.
Yeah. And what I meant by like I didn't think it would work is just because it just you don't see it often enough. It's one of those
Yeah,
things like when you see it, it's like, oh yeah, like this could, like you said, this could work every time, but if we don't see it all the time, sometimes our brain just goes like, we need more of this. So I would agree.
totally. Yeah.
Um, Now I wanted to ask about this side of how God has influenced pop culture. Uh, when it comes to people mindsets, um, do you think the different mindsets when it comes to God has helped influence pop culture?
What do you mean, like the mindset of, like, getting
Yeah,
in
like
touch
people
with, what was the question?
getting it. I'm sorry, like getting in touch with God, of course, but also like I need to be a good person because of God. And
Yeah, I think that but I think that can kind of be a little slippery slope,
okay,
because I feel like when you feel like you need to be a good person because of God, you start to act not like yourself. You start to act like, oh, I'm supposed to be this way, and then you're not embodied in it. And when you're not embodied in it, it's very easy to slip up. That's why a lot of people that people will see, like, you know Christians or this person here, and then they, like, have all this, like, dark side about them, and people are shocked. But it's really, they're just, they're doing their best to play a character that they fully haven't embodied yet, you know? So I think that, yeah, I think that definitely influences, God is the only reason we exist. So God is in everything. But it's like, can it consciously be in things more? Can that energy that, you know, um, is, in my opinion, what's going to take our humanity to the level that we all get to be part of the world, where we all get to feel safe, where we all get to be fed, where we all get to, like, that's the God energy that I see. The only way the planet, in my opinion, can move forward is with that God energy, like healing, that healing energy that God brings. And not necessarily like the Christian God, but the unconditional loving state of being within us all. And I think that that's something that we really need more of, like you said, moving forward, because our world was so void of that in every aspect, which is why the world is so shitty, right? like even in times where they act like it is, like America and conservatives and things like that, where they project this image of that they're godly people, they treat people like shit. They don't care about people. They don't care about black people. They don't care about um like even like vaccine stuff. They don't care about wearing masks. A lot of these people, I'm not saying all of them, but there's this really weird, insane superiority that these like the Christians that take on God take on. And that's the energy that has created such separation in our world, and why the world is suffering so badly. And I think we need to take God back and make the God energy the energy that's like loving to everybody, right? That wants everybody to be happy and healed, and doesn't see a drug addict as or a criminal as like this piece of shit loser, but sees him as a person that like, hey man, the system failed this person, and let's love them back to health. Let's love them back to healing. And I think that's the world. That's the only way we can exist. We can coexist in a healthy world with each other. And I think that we need that.
Nice, man. Nice. I like the way you broke that down. One last thing about you said about I have seen, and I just tip our toe, one little toe in religion. Have you seen about these preachers not allowing some of their congregation, some people in their congregation, come in if they're vaccinated or if they have a mask?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, I just think that's their. And what I think it is, and this is just my projection, but I think, and a lot of these people, some of these people, not a lot of them, some of them have ended up dying. But I think it's a defense. It's like like when you get really afraid of something, and you kind of like tell yourself you're not afraid, but you're scared shitless. What I think's happening is they're kind of scared shitless, which understandably, like all of us are. This is a crazy disease, crazy time. But I think instead of being like, I'm scared shitless, they're like, no vaccine, no mask, get out of here, right? And they're very like overly in their ego, and they're like they're trying, I don't know why the word's not coming to my head right now, but they're overcompensating basically. And so then they get the disease and die because they were overcompensating for their fear. And I think that has another thing to do with, we can talk about even deeper, is like, I think if there was more God in our world, that people, like real God, people could open up about their fear more. I think, a lot of times, a lot of those people aren't, they go into God so much from this place of fear that they're it drives them insane, right? Because they're like holding on to God so much, but it's out of fear. And I think when we can kind of switch God into a God of love, that's when we can relax, surrender, embrace, be honest with our emotions. And then from there, we can let that loving energy in instead of letting that like hateful, scared energy out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I completely get it, brother.
Yeah.
Um, Depictions of God and movies and TV shows. Do you have a favorite actor that has played God?
Um, honestly, the first thing that came to my head was I liked Alanis Morissette in Dogma. I thought that show was pretty funny and like cool. I like Morgan Freeman and Bruce Almighty. I like that Andre 3000 skit on Love Below where he's like with God or whatever. I thought that
Yeah.
was great. Yeah, I mean, I think those are some of my favorite things. I think, I also like, kind of making fun of God or whatever, making fun. Like I have a lot of making fun of because I was raised Christian and Southern Baptist. So I have a lot of making fun of Christianity in my act, which
I
is
agree.
which I feel like as the years have gotten, because I've done it for a while, as the years have gotten older, more people have laughed. At first, it was like, especially in the South, it's like people would like laugh and then like, because I have this one really great joke that I started out with. It's you guys ever have the friend that does a favor for you without you asking, and then he expects you to do one in return? Everybody's like, yeah, I got that. I got this friend named Jesus Christ. He died 2,000 years ago for my sins. Now he expects me to live for him. And it's kind of a misdirection joke. And I would watch people go, like they couldn't laugh at it because God was going to strike them dead. That God fear again, because like, I was raised Christian. So they tell you that like God's up your ass all the time. God knows all your thoughts. God's going to strike you down if you don't do this, if you don't think that. I mean, if you think this or do this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I understand, man. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness, so I don't know much about Southern Baptist, but I know about that stern, like you have to live this kind of lifestyle, you have to be this kind of way type mentality.
Oh yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was. Uh, it was. Quick question. I hope this isn't dumb, and please, I don't mean to offend you. At least, Northern Baptist, is that a thing or no?
I don't know, honestly. That's a great question.
Okay, cool. I did not mean to offend any Southern Baptist.
Hey, no, that wasn't offensive at all. That's just a great question. Because you hear all about Southern Baptists,
yeah.
but you never hear about Northern Baptists.
Okay. Oh,
That sounds like a good beginning to a bit.
yeah.
You hear a lot about Southern Baptists. What about those Northern Baptists? And then maybe you go into like Northern stereotypes and then apply them to Christianity.
Either that or that one person in the audience. I'm right here. Just like, oh, step. Okay, you guys exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, you talked about Morgan Freeman. Do you watch the show Lucifer? It's based on a comic book. I think it's on Netflix at the moment.
No.
Uh,
I think my fiance watched it.
it's the I want to make sure. Yeah, yeah. The guy that does the State Farm commercials, he's God in that show. And just to see like Morgan Freeman and him is like I can see that. Like because both of their voices are like what you would I guess kind of imagine. It's just like
I don't
yeah, I
know.
can,
The only State Farm commercials I know are the Chris Paul ones.
no, I'm so sorry. What am I trying to say? Ah man.
You talking about the dude who Kanye called the fake Denzel, the Allstate guy?
Yeah, Allstate.
Yeah,
Allstate. Yeah. Yes.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I didn't know that guy. I didn't know that he was in anything.
Yes. And then I can't remember the actor's name, but it's a guy that plays God in a show called Supernatural. It's got like a 13, 16 seasons. I can't keep up with the show. But there's another actor that does that. But as a comedian, and have you done any acting work at all?
Yeah.
Do you think
What?
nice, nice. I said nice, nice. I didn't know that. Cool, cool. That's good to hear, man. I've done some projects, nothing that you hear about ever. Um,
Yeah, me neither. I made a film in New York that I recently edited again that I'm gonna put out soon that I like a lot. It's called "Move to New York and Follow Your Dreams."
dude, thank you so much for dropping that on the podcast, man. I truly appreciate it. I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's okay. It's like
nice,
a short film.
nice, man. Can't wait to see it, brother. Please, please send it to me when you drop it. Send me the link, please.
I will.
As an actor yourself, do you think you would feel comfortable playing God?
Yeah, I can play God.
Nice.
I'm not really. I wouldn't say that I'm an actor because it's like the least thing that I do. Like I feel like I can act because I feel like I feel like comedy's acting. I feel like poetry's acting. Um, yeah, I mean, I would feel comfortable playing God.
Nice, nice, nice. I only reason why I would be like I would do it, of course, because if somebody actually do it, you want to do it, you want the exposure. But I'll be real with you, man, and I may be bad biased, but I doubt God has my voice.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I can see God having your voice.
Thanks, man. I cannot. I'm like, really? Oh, Jesus. Okay. I mean, God. Yes. Okay. Cool. Um, Another part that I wanted to hit on pop culture was when it comes to God is a lot of people feel like they shouldn't talk about God. Like either they want to talk about it or they really dodge the question. Um, why do you think that is so?
Because God is so taboo, because God is so like misconstrued, right? I think God is just the energy within us all. I think we're all an extension of God. And I think that God exists like within us. And I think that like we're not really taught that. We're separated from God. God's up here. We're down here. Jesus is healing people. We're barely making it on our lives, right? There's just a lot of disparity between God and who we are and who we think we are. So I think that like a lot of people don't know. I think that's the other side of the world that's hopefully coming. Is that we realize that God is within us, and that the limitless power of God is also the limitless power of us. That we're connected to it.
Nice.
So I think
Nice.
people don't want to talk about it because people don't really know what it is.
Nice.
And
It's
when you
kind of like
figure out
death.
what it is, you want to talk about it.
Wow, that's powerful. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's powerful what you just said. That's true. Till we figure out exactly what it is, because nobody really talks about death just because even people that get brought back to life, they can't tell you what happened. So yeah.
Same thing. Actually, I'm reading this great book right now called "Dying to Be Me," which is about a woman who had cancer, had a near death experience, went to the other side. Other side said, "Hey, you got a chance to either like come back, you can stay here, or you can go back right now." And she's like, "Well, I'm just gonna stay here because this is way better, and plus my body's all fucked up." And the other side was like, "Well, when you go back, you're gonna remember this, so you're gonna heal your cancer like nothing." And she went back and healed her cancer and wrote this amazing book. I've actually was just reading it, so it's pretty interesting yeah, it's incredible.
Nice, nice, nice. I think they said something about that in the documentary about the review. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, um, we spoke about it earlier. They do a lot of parodies of God and a lot of jokes about God. Uh, and I was trying to think of some, but honestly, the people I've seen that's been like the forefront in the past couple of years, I would say are Family Guy. I feel like when it comes to shows, Family Guys where they really are like, yeah, we're not scared at all. Like they have a bunch of jokes and they just go right at it. Is there any other shows or movies that you've seen that just like do a good job making fun?
Um, I always thought South Park was funny when they made fun of God.
Oh yeah, true. I forget. Yeah,
Yeah, there's not that much stuff that makes fun of God.
yeah. I forgot about South Park. South Park don't care. They are they're
Yeah,
like, and they have a joke. They go full steam ahead. Um,
yeah, they do.
yes, yes. When you were a Southern Baptist growing up, when you heard those jokes, would you cringe, or even back then you would laugh?
Funny story. I remember I thought they were I was Southern Baptist, but I was like, I think I think something happened where like it was too intense. I was like a real sensitive kid. I
Okay,
think the world was like too intense for me, and I kind of like dissociated from my body and kind of like was like watching my life from like a outside of myself. Because I mean, I remember like going, people would kind of, I'm gonna answer that story, but there's a pre-story. I remember like, going to these summer camps and like this guy would come out and be like, "You're all going to hell. Go grab a stick, break your stick. I know somebody who went to hell and he was burning and he would act like a nutcase. And I would just kind of like watch it. Like all the other people were like, "Oh my God, we gotta break sticks." And I wouldn't really break sticks. I would just kind of like watching like it was theater or something. So I remember from like an early age, kind of like not really, yeah, it got into my psyche and made me insane on some level, like the whole "you're going to hell" stuff and being afraid of God. So it definitely made me insane on some level, but it was also kind of this detached shit going on too. So I would watch it. So when I remember I think I was like 14 when the South Park movie came out, and me and my friend went to see it. And there's that French character that's just like, "You stupid fucking God," that just talks shit to God the whole movie. And I remember laughing hysterically. And I remember my friend laughing hysterically. And when we got back to his house, he goes, "I'm giving my life to Jesus Christ." And he's like, "I can't watch South Park anymore. I can't." He felt so bad about laughing at the God thing that he was like, "I am now redevouting, is that a word? Redevoting my life to Christ forever. I cannot watch South Park. I cannot do this. I cannot do that." And he went on this I was like, "No, dude, please." I was like begging him not to. I was like, "Dude, you're gonna suck if you do that. Please don't do that, man." He's like, "No, it's already done. I've given my life to Christ." So South Park made him quit. It made him give his life to Christ.
Hey man, that hey, I guess it works either way, huh?
Yeah, no, it was funny. I mean, that character really took him for control, man.
Yeah.
That was a funny movie.
Oh yes, that was a great bro. That was a classic movie. Like even from the intro, they did a great
All
job.
those songs, man, those songs were hilarious.
Yes, yes. It's amazing they got a movie that fast and it took the Simpsons like what 22 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job of capitalizing on their success, but then also making it great. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's not like the movie was like bad. I mean, the movie was like phenomenal.
Yes. Yes.
And this, honestly, I didn't really like the Simpsons movie that much.
Yeah, it wasn't that great to me either. It was
I don't even, honestly, I went and saw it. I can't even tell you when it came out, and I can't even tell you one thing about it.
I just reviewed it 2 days ago, so I watched it. And it's not the best, but for 2007 standards, it's not the worst either.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just a lot of jokes that you'd be like, we can't say that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think, yeah, I just remember going to see it and being like, that wasn't any good. And then I literally don't even remember the plot or anything.
Yeah, Spider Pig wasn't making me laugh either. Um,
Yeah.
if you don't remember that, it's not important.
I don't even remember Spider Pig. I mean, that movie, it's wild how many movies I've watched that I can't even, that I just like disappeared from my mind.
Yeah.
Because that used to be one of my favorite things, going to movies in the theater. Like I
Yeah.
love watching movies in theaters.
Yeah, my friends are trying to get me to go to the movies, and every time I tell them, I'm like, look, I got a family now. I'm just like, look, I really don't want to pay $9 for popcorn. We can just
Oh
buy this
yeah.
on VOD. I can have my son, my fiance. We just watch it here for $20 and have our own popcorn. So
Yeah, I know, totally.
yeah,
Yeah. What are you watching on $20?
VOD, video on demand.
Oh, video on demand. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So most of the time it's 20. Sometimes you can get one for like 15. Like the last movie I bought on VOD was it was some kid movie for my stepson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything else you wanted to say how God has influenced pop culture?
Um, no, I think we covered a lot of great stuff and just kind of, yeah, that was fun. Appreciate
Nice.
that.
Nice, man. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming on to the podcast. Is there anything you want to say to your fans, and where can they follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Facebook, Justin Blackburn. You can find me on there. My fan page is Positive Progressive Poet Comedian, Justin Blackburn, and Twitter is Life Coach Comedian, Life Coach Poet Comedian, and then on no, that's Instagram, and then on Twitter I'm at Thank You Gianna.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for coming on to the podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and have an amazing day.
So you.